We've all been there. You pick up your phone without even realizing why. You open Instagram, or TikTok, or Twitter, or even LinkedIn, pretending it's productive. You see one post, then another, then a video. Just one more. Okay, really just one more. When you finally notice, 20 minutes have simply evaporated. And then the question hits. Why is it so easy to lose hours jumping from content to content while important tasks get conveniently pushed aside? Or maybe you recognize yourself in this situation, that constant craving for more stimulation. Maybe a new series or more time on social media. One more sweet from the fridge. Just one more thing that gives you that quick, feel-good hit, even if it doesn't last. If this sounds familiar, relax. You're not alone. What's happening has everything to do with a very specific mechanism in your brain. You've just entered the dopamine cycle. But before we keep going, if you like understanding your brain and tricking it into being productive, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. Trust me, your future self will appreciate it. So, what is dopamine after all? First things first, dopamine is not the villain. And it's definitely not just the happiness hormone, like the internet loves to simplify. Dopamine was discovered in 1958 by two Swedish scientists, Arvid Carlsson and Nils Åke Hillarp. And ever since, it's been messing with human life. Sometimes for good, sometimes not so much. Technically speaking, dopamine is both a neurotransmitter and a hormone. In real-life terms, it's a chemical messenger in the brain responsible for pleasure, motivation, learning, attention, movement, and mood. Translation? It's what makes your brain think, oh, that was nice. Let's do that again. But hold on, because now it gets interesting. Let's dig a little deeper and understand what dopamine is made of. And then you'll see why this matters so much. Dopamine is produced from tyrosine, a non-essential amino acid. Non-essential means your body can produce it on its own. But you can also get it from food. Yes, your lunch is involved in this. This process happens naturally in your body, in two steps, down at the base of the brain, inside neurons. Very elegant, very biochemical. Here's how it works, and I promise I'll use just a tiny bit of chemistry now. Nothing traumatic, breathe, stay with me. First, tyrosine is converted into another amino acid called L-dopa. Then L-dopa goes through one more transformation and, ta-da! It becomes dopamine, with the help of enzymes from your own body. See? That wasn't so much chemistry after all. Your brain is literally doing this right now while you're sitting there watching this video. And dopamine doesn't just sit around doing nothing. It acts in multiple areas of the brain, helping with memory, attention, movement control, and mood. And it even supports gut health and muscle maintenance. So yeah, it's kind of a big deal. And when dopamine levels are too low, the body definitely feels it. Low dopamine is linked to movement stiffness, which is a hallmark of Parkinson's disease. It's also associated with low mood. And while depression is more often linked to serotonin, studies show that dopamine plays a role too. In practice, people with low dopamine often struggle with motivation, focus, and mental energy. Not sadness exactly, more like feeling stuck, foggy, or unable to get started. Which is why foods rich in tyrosine are often recommended when we talk about supporting dopamine production. Some very everyday examples: eggs, fish, meat, beans, soy, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, dairy like milk, cheese, and yogurt, avocado, bananas. And here comes a quick, almost philosophical thought. At the end of the day, we're basically a bunch of earth substances walking around. So it's not that surprising that many of the compounds our brain needs are also found in food. But pay attention to this part. Understanding what dopamine is not the same as understanding the dopamine cycle. And that's where things start to get really interesting and a little dangerous. By now, we already know that dopamine works like the engine of desire. It's not exactly about pleasure itself, but about the anticipation of pleasure. In other words, It's not when you eat the candy, it's when you imagine the candy. It's not when the like arrives, it's when you think, did someone like my post? That's when dopamine kicks in, getting the brain ready to chase that reward. And this isn't a flaw, it's actually an evolutionary feature. Back in cave times, our ancestors needed motivation to hunt, find food, and seek shelter. Without that chemical push, humanity would probably have been sitting on a rock thinking, I'll do it later. And by the way, that still explains a lot today, including why starting a new habit is so hard. If you want to go deeper into that, there's a video linked in the card right here that dives exactly into this topic. But back to the point. The problem is that the world has changed. The brain? Not so much. Today, we don't need to run after food, but we do chase notifications, videos, games, sugar, endless entertainment. And the brain treats all of this as if it were survival. The difference is that modern rewards are fast, easy, and require almost no effort. Even so, they still release dopamine. And that's where the problem begins. We enter a cycle of immediate gratification. Lots of stimulus, lots of dopamine, but very little real satisfaction. And there's one more important detail in this cycle. Dopamine doesn't rise only when we imagine and anticipate the action. It also rises during the pleasurable action itself. In other words, the brain gets excited before and during. The problem is what comes next. As soon as the reward ends, dopamine drops. That happens because the brain operates through a self-regulating system called homeostasis. Basically the rule of what goes up must come down. And it's exactly at this low point that the classic thoughts show up. Okay, just one more piece of chocolate. Just one more episode. Just 5 more minutes. For most people, that urge passes quickly. But the more we repeat this cycle, the more the brain learns that the solution to any discomfort is to look for another stimulus. And just like that, the loop is formed. This phenomenon was studied by Nora D. Volkow, a physician and director of the U.S. National Institute on Drug Abuse. In a paper published in the Journal of Neuroscience, she shows how frequent exposure to fast rewards, like social media and other instant stimuli, can change the brain's sensitivity to reward. In short, the easier the stimulus, the more the brain starts to expect dopamine, and the less satisfied it feels with what it gets. It's like a spoiled brain, always wanting more and never feeling like it's enough. So why does the constant chase for quick pleasure leave us exhausted? Have you ever told yourself, just 5 minutes on your phone? And when you look up, an hour of your life is gone. And somehow you feel more tired than when you started. Yeah, when we constantly give in to pleasurable things, short videos, endless feeds, notifications, the brain tries to keep things balanced. And this is where homeostasis shows up again. That internal rule of what goes up must come down. But the brain doesn't cut off the stimulus. It does something more subtle and more sneaky. It reduces your sensitivity to pleasure. It's like the homeostasis bar keeps getting adjusted lower and lower. What used to excite you now feels meh. What used to be enough now needs to be repeated, intensified, sped up. The result? You consume more stimulation not because you're enjoying it more, but because you're feeling it less. In other words, what used to be fun slowly becomes not that fun anymore. And still, we keep chasing more and more. It's like eating sweets all day long. At some point, nothing really satisfies you, but you still want another one. And the digital world is perfect for this because it never ends. The next show starts automatically. The next video is already loaded. And you don't even have to decide. Just stay there. Meanwhile, your brain switches into pleasure now mode. It starts operating more through the limbic system, the emotional part that seeks quick rewards, and less through the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for planning, problem solving, and sustained focus. In short, emotion is driving, reason is sitting in the back seat. And then something curious happens. Whenever real life demands effort, like thinking, deciding, dealing with frustration, having real conversations, your phone shows up as an emergency exit, a skip this part button for life. And let's be honest, the version of life on the screen is way more comfortable. Everyone looks good. There are no awkward silences, no conflict. And if something bothers you, just swipe. The problem is that, over time, this trains the brain to stop tolerating effort, boredom, or frustration. Anything that takes time starts to feel boring. Anything without immediate reward feels heavy. Research shows that this constant flood of fast stimuli, releasing dopamine over and over, can lead to mental exhaustion, even when the activity seems effortless. That's why you feel tired after doing nothing. Your brain collected lots of tiny rewards, but none of them were deep enough to create real satisfaction. Over time, it gets used to this high-speed dopamine, and then normal life activities, reading, working, studying, talking, start to feel way more exhausting than they should. This modern kind of fatigue is so common, it even has a name: brain rot, a term used to describe that mental fog, lack of focus, and exhaustion after too much digital consumption. It's not a medical diagnosis, but a lot of people relate to it. Because who hasn't left social media feeling slower, more scattered, and less motivated than before? Platforms are designed this way. Every like, every funny video, every notification creates a small dopamine spike. The problem is when the brain wants to live only on that. Over time, this can lead to less ability to concentrate, more mental fatigue, difficulty remembering simple things, and even more anxiety, especially with doom scrolling, that habit of endlessly scrolling through bad news, even when you know it's only making you feel worse. And here's the most interesting part. You don't have to be on your screen all day to feel this. When this kind of consumption becomes a daily habit, even in normal amounts, the effect shows up. Okay, all of this sounds pretty bad, right? But calm down. This isn't about panic. It's about awareness. By now, you already understand what dopamine is, how it works in the brain, and how modern life does a pretty good job of messing up this system. So let's get to what really matters: how to get out of this cycle without becoming a monk on top of a mountain. First, an important warning. There's no such thing as zero dopamine, and there shouldn't be. Seeking pleasure is natural, healthy, and human. The problem isn't pleasure itself. It's living only on fast, shallow, automatic pleasure. And this is where something science has observed for decades comes in. The brain needs pauses. There are studies about what's called resting mental networks, moments when you're not producing, consuming, responding, or performing. You're just existing. That's when the brain reorganizes, breathes, connects ideas, and, ironically, becomes more creative and calmer. The Dutch even have a word for this: niksen. It basically means doing nothing, without guilt, sitting with your own thoughts. No podcast, no feed, no multitasking. Is it hard? Very. Is it deeply regulating? Absolutely. And yes, we've heard about digital detox and mindfulness 1,000 times. The problem is that our culture sells the idea that life should be constantly entertaining. But it isn't. Life includes effort, boredom, frustration. And when we stop running from that all the time, paradoxically, life feels lighter. That said, let's get into the practical ways to break the cycle. But before I show you how, if you're enjoying the video so far, leave a like and share it with that friend you know might need a little push to put the phone down and live a bit more in the real world. And let's be honest, we all need that sometimes. All right, let's go. 1. Reprogram your brain for lasting rewards. Have you noticed how starting a task is the hardest part, but once you get going, things start to flow? That happens because at the beginning, dopamine hasn't entered the game yet. But as you move forward, the brain starts associating the task with a future reward, a sense of progress, completion, pride. The tip here is simple and powerful. Break big tasks into small pieces. Each small finish becomes a mini reward. Less suffering, more momentum. 2. Move your body. It wasn't designed to be a chair accessory. Walking, stretching, moving, all of this increases dopamine, improves mood, and clears the mind. And no, you don't need to become an Olympic athlete. Small doses already work. Stand up every hour. Walk around the block. Stretch for 5 minutes. Movement is one of the most natural ways to regulate the brain. 3. Eat in a way that makes sense. Yes, tyrosine shows up again. Dopamine is made from raw material, and part of it comes from food. Foods rich in tyrosine, remember it, help sustain more stable dopamine levels. On the other hand, sugar and ultra-processed foods create fast spikes, followed by sharp crashes. Translation? Fake energy now, exhaustion later. Here, balance beats extremes. 4. Manage your attention, because it's worth more than your time. The problem isn't lack of time, it's excess distraction. Every focus switch drains mental energy. Every notification breaks the flow. Simple tools help a lot. Focus periods, like the Pomodoro method. Social media as a reward, not background noise. Fewer notifications. A cleaner environment, less visual stimulus. This part is gold. Use pleasure to close a cycle, not to escape one. 5. Sleep well, non-negotiable. Sleep regulates dopamine, so one bad night can throw everything off. Less sleep means less available dopamine, which means less motivation, less focus, more irritability. Consistent routines, fewer screens at night, more respect for your body. Nothing revolutionary, just the essentials. And beyond these steps to improve focus and productivity, there are a few simple things that help, a lot, to regulate dopamine day to day. Practices like meditation, yoga, or Tai Chi help the brain step out of constant stimulation mode. That's when you stop reacting all the time and slowly start taking back control of your attention. Manual hobbies do the same. Knitting, crafting, building things, fixing stuff around the house. When the hands are busy, the mind slows down. Focus becomes calmer, deeper, almost like meditation in motion. And music. Listening to music you genuinely love also releases dopamine. Not the fast dopamine of infinite scrolling, but the kind that comes with emotion, presence, and real pleasure. Transforming dopamine, from enemy to ally. Understanding how dopamine influences your behavior isn't just scientific curiosity. It's the first step toward taking back control of your own life. When you start applying small, everyday strategies, swapping quick rewards for real ones, moving your body more, eating in a more consistent way, managing your attention, and respecting your sleep, dopamine changes roles. It stops being the villain of instant pleasure and starts working for you, helping you build things that actually make sense in the long run. Of course, this balance between pleasure now and real satisfaction doesn't happen overnight. It takes effort. It meets resistance. And yes, there's that urge to grab your phone halfway through. But the change comes, and it comes gradually. With small but consistent actions, you begin to notice something different. More mental clarity, more focus, more energy, and less of that constant, unexplained exhaustion. Brain fog might sound like a trendy term, but the experience is very real. And it's not a personal flaw. It's a reflection of habits that can be adjusted. Technology isn't the villain. The problem starts when it becomes the only place your brain finds pleasure. When you make more conscious choices, you can enjoy the best of the digital world without leaving your mind slow, scattered, or drained. At the end of the day, your brain is one of your most valuable assets, and it works a lot better when you take care of it, instead of only demanding more from it. Now I want to hear from you. If this video made sense to you, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and comment below. What's the first step you're going to take to start breaking this cycle? One step counts. Your brain likes that. All right, that's enough wisdom for one day. Go touch some grass, hydrate, be a functional human. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!